let's talk about change. You often want it, but when it happens is not always the time in which then you're like, why is it happening right now? I'm not ready for it. So let's get into what's going on with that, what you can do with it, and probably why you're feeling stuck and or unready from it. So you have the Hanged Man, and this is representing kind of exactly like it sounds, is you're kind of stuck in like a limbo. And the reason you're stuck in a limbo is actually because you're trying to control the change. You're trying to say when it's going to happen. My husband just did this last night. So he has like all this like forward momentum at his career and his job, like really fast, like really noticed fast. And the point is, thus far, he's just been doing his own thing. And then now, I guess because probably realistically change is happening like kind of quickly and in different directions than he expected. Last night he's like, oh, well, are you going to your office? And I'm like, I mean, I don't think so. Why? He's like, oh, I thought you were going to pull some cards for me to see what day I need to book this call. I'm like, no. We're not strangling this out. We're not doing this. No, we're not having falsified control. We don't need to do that. That's not going to help you forward progress. So the unknown is the unknown, and we don't know what's coming, but you trust that it's for the highest good of yourself as well as of all. Okay. And so what I mean by that is there's this, you're hanging by the thread, like in a way of trying to move yourself. Like, I don't know, like almost say like lying down, would be a little bit more cozy, but you might feel like you're kind of just hanging there. Like, how do I make this decision to go forward? How do I know what decision? Is there a decision, right? You probably got like lots of stuff happening. And then if life is changing around you and then it's going against what your brain thought, or you're just trying to have that predictiveness, like predictive control. Like that's my husband, like everything's moving forward, but he's still like, and I even said that yesterday. I was like, oh, don't start having limiting like thoughts now. He's like, what? I've been having them the whole time. I was like, well, maybe just keep having them. Like keep doing what you've been doing because it's obviously working out. Like just trust yourself that like what's meant for you is going to work for you. So for those of you that's in this like ho hum, you could be frustrated, but you also could just be like, dang, like, why is nothing happening? Or like, oh, well, I'm just there. Okay. If you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you always got. So it's definitely a time. You have 8 of fire. It's a forward momentum. It's like when you let go of the control, you're going to have more forward momentum. You're going to have more progression. You're going to notice things progressing forward without having to try to progress them forward. They're just naturally going to move, naturally going in the direction that you're heading. When we try to say and finesse and micromanage every waking flipping detail, strangulation occurs and you kind of just feel like somebody's like dangling you above. You're not really going anywhere. Now, what comes with this? Because this is a path you haven't gone before. But when you let go, basically let Jesus take the wheel, okay? Like just let go. I don't know anybody's going to catch me, but I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it. And sometimes what they're doing is doing abso-fucka-lutely nothing. Some of you, that is your due of realizing that you could spend 16 hours behind the computer today, 16 hours working towards that goal. And then you get 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 anything. And you could have spent that 16 hours reading a book with your kids, taking a walk. Yeah, but you don't understand. I want this really badly. Do you think the push is really going to make it? Has that ever really worked out for you? Or at least in the present day, does that work out for you? Or not? Because I'm going to probably say, or not. It's not working. That's not working. Saying you did something to say that you did something is not the way that we're going about this. So when you have this forward momentum, it's just going to work. Like you're going to have, like yesterday, man, I did so much shit yesterday. I baked like 5 different types of breads yesterday. 5. I recorded a YouTube video. I recorded a module for my course, which was 5 videos. I did laundry. I washed my kids' sheets. Like I did all kinds. I edited videos. Like I just was like going. And am I going to do that every day? No. Was that in my schedule other than laundry? No, it wasn't. So that's the thing. You have to work on what's present instead of forcing it. And then when that comes, when you finally let go and you start to have movement, it is going to feel like new. I'm trying to think like how to put it. Like, not child. I mean, I would recommend being kind of childlike with it in the context. That's why they have Page of Fire. It is to have a childlike experience in the capacity of allowing yourself to create, allowing yourself to experience, allowing yourself to feel, realizing like, what do you want? How can you continue to embody joy through this experience? Because like it's gonna serve you really super well. Like, how can you just be in this moment, love this moment without defining the next stages? Like, you're just being right where you are. I'm right where I need to be. This is right where I am. This is right where I am because this is where I go when I am where I am. Where you are is the present moment. So let's see in terms of soul, because this is the other deck that was picked for you today. Let me just think of Donkey on Shrek singing, I'm on my way. Well, it's actually not Donkey, but the song. Okay. Seeding light, laying foundations, divine plan. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. All right. So Anna, grandmother of Jesus was saying to take the wheel. Whether you're a Christian or not, I am not. Okay. So what is this trying to tell you? Is like, look, you've been growing. Like you've been growing this whole time. You know that. Come on now. You've been in the place like this before. Like, it's just different than it was in the past, because I think it still carried like so much of trying to prove yourself. Like, and that's also okay. So when I say that, like, it is okay that you once are in that spot. Like, I think I've done it. I think we do that for ourselves because we're layered. We are. Like Shrek said, no, ogres have layers. And well, guess what? So does humans. Humans have lots of layers. We have so many layers. And we hide layers from ourselves because we don't even realize that there's a layer there. And so it's like each becoming of self, as we learn to be ourselves, like another layer comes off. And so what I'm saying is, like, say you got 50 layers, you know, you don't even realize that there's 25 ahead of the 1 to 25 that you saw. And you were just clocking away. You're like, oh, I got like 7, 10 more. Or you don't even know they're there until you like unlayer it. And you're like, wow. And then you look back and it's like, there was 15 layers. Look at me now. Like, how incredible. And it is incredible. That's why you should celebrate every win along the way. You should celebrate your progression. You understand, like, what feels like reverting isn't necessarily that you reverted. It's often that a chapter hasn't actually fully closed, and that there's an identity of yourself that you hadn't really truly let go of, and where you're kind of like living in between worlds. You know, it's like kind of being married and then having like a side relationship. There, you got two totally different worlds open at the same exact time. And at some point, something's probably going to possibly have a catastrophe attached to it, if not both. I mean, that's also an option. So what I'm getting at is, like, this has been a time, give me a second, like, to try to find the words. So the soul is coming into fruition in formation this time in a different capacity and form than it has ever done before. Because this go around, we once recognized the soul. The soul was like kind of coming into the picture through the fact of you might have the soul mission and blah, blah, blah. Learned all these spiritual words and terms and other dimensions and angels and archangels and ascent masters and dragons and blah, blah, right? Like all these things. Whether or not we believe it true or not, that's irrelevant. It really is. None of it really actually at the end of the day freaking matters, because your perspective on it is what matters. If those things gave life meaning to you and helped you progress forward, and I think it's a beautiful thing. And so what I mean by that is, at one point, the soul was outside of self and something that we reached towards. And then for me, when the whole like spiritual type of world came in, I was excited about it. I thought it was kind of going to replace the human experience, I think. Maybe not like consciously, but as I've understood myself over the years and some of the places I've brought myself, I realized I was like, oh, I was bypassing the human experience a bit, even though I didn't realize I was. Super egotistical, but not in the capacity in which we thought the ego was. I was becoming spiritually egotistical, and which, like, you think you're finished and you think you're done, and you do have pockets of superiority hiding in there, even if you're not really like a boastful type of person. Like I don't feel I've ever been and come across that way, but it was happening behind the scenes and leaking forward, and the choices that I was making. And in my human world, like especially if it was from my husband, would bring up something, in the past years, I'd be like, the fuck that's happening, like, what about you was always my thing. And then that's when, the last few years for me has been a real rude awakening of like, damn, wow, did I bamboozle myself? Like I was under the guise of this ego the whole time, but I thought I was like so spiritually enlightened. So the change that's taking place this time is very human. But we're not relinquishing the soul is what I'm trying to say. It's going to come into power even greater than it did before. Why? Because the human self is being so respected and so lived this time, without the shame, without the boxes that needed to be checked and the things that they needed to prove in order for somebody to like, somebody to stay, or for you to arrive. You no longer are going to be hanging on to the stories of look at me because I succeeded. Look at me because I failed. And you got these two sides of the story that people play. Now you're just like, here I am. I'm human. You're not having to prove anything. You're not having to sell your story to anyone. You're not doing it. You're just being a human. You're just humaning in the human experience. Nothing's attaching to you. You're not taking everything personally. Life is lifing. Life is lifing. People around you is gonna do their things, and so are you. And as you continue to choose, your vibration is going to continue to rise and rise and rise and rise. It's going to feel like it's enhanced itself, but it's coming through your human body feeling so safe that of course it's going to let you shine brighter. You're working together as one team. This was never an opposition or one better than the other, or like the soul, hello, look at me. Oh, human body, you skin suit, you. That's all that you are. Yeah, it is a skin suit. It is a suit that we're wearing. But this thing's freaking epic. It's like an Avenger suit, okay? Like it has powers. Like it's awesome. It has like tricks and stuff. Iron Man, that's it. From Avengers. Like if you ever seen that, like this thing is badass. It got all kinds of stuff going on. Oh, it's a suit. Well, so is this. And they're way more badass than we realize that they are, okay? Like they're not these like dim lit things. We're programmed to believe that they are. But you've been in the awakening of awakening self, yourself, your actual self, soul and human together, okay? So just keep focusing on the light coming forward. You've been laying down foundations. When you lay down foundations, you're able to create a stability, a form of stability, a form of structure that lasts instead of comes in and goes away and comes in and goes away. We're not doing that anymore. We're not, ooh, let me tease you. Oh, wrong direction. Dangling by a thread. How's that feel? How's that uncertainty? You become certain in self. You become certain in yourself. The world around you isn't just going to be this predictive outlet. You're sound in yourself. Call me crazy, but I just have this legit, still to this day, unwavering faith and trust in my life. Meaning, if my mom died tomorrow, if I lost a child before I died, et cetera, like everything is working in my best interest because I had the ability to choose again. I have the ability to not feel victimized by life. I've already lost a home by a storm or flood. I lost everything but physical people. That may happen again, but I feel like it doesn't. You know what I mean? And not out of like, oh, nothing bad ever happens to me. No, it's not that. I just have this. Life is already a challenge as a human being of us being a human being to ourselves. I don't need to go buy into all the other stuff around me too. If we got this ability to have life to be a game and to literally just create it like a child and live like a child, they're not stressed out by everything. Oh, but you obviously don't have any stress. We have choices that create consequences. As I tell my kids, the consequence, if you want to see the word instead of being something negative, sometimes the consequences of us getting all A's is that we might get attention. So we have to look at every single decision that we make because it is a consequence. And sometimes we realize that, which I had to realize for myself when I realized I didn't have the ability to maintain too much softness in my life and too much happiness. the consequence of me not having a tone and an attitude and being bubbly and fresh around my husband was that his alpha male decreases because he feels safe with me. And he like opens up and he has like feminine aspects, I guess you would say, that like comes out that then I'd be like, oh, like, what are you doing like that? Guess what I do? Sabotage it. So it kind of went a little bit of a tangent, but it's all connected in the sense of it's going to feel new. It's going to feel different till it becomes normal. And that normal is your sense of surety that's going to come from yourself, not from the outside. This isn't the typical, I did a little self-love exercise. I did a little mirror work. This isn't the same thing. It's so much simpler, but also so much more expansive than that. So if you want help, like trying to understand what kind of like change is coming up for you and like where that could be like spiraling from, or where just to kind of have a guidance point towards, I have a free quiz below and kind of give you a little bit of direction as to like, are you overthinking? Are you trying to predict and control the future, etc. Of what is that control mechanism? Oh, here it is. What is that control mechanism that's kind of been strangling you out? It could give you the tool.